Trump calls all those white folks who attacked the Capitol on January 6th heroes and patriots. He wants to pardon them. What do you think he'd be saying if it had been black folks who attacked the Capitol?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. He'd call them criminals and thugs, say they should be in jail, and throw away the key.
Yeah.
Get out of here, man. I'm sticking with Biden.
Me too.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
Registration is now open for the 2024 Pennsylvania Conference for Women. This exciting event will feature Shirley Ralph, Robin Earlzone, Diana Nyad, and dozens more to be announced. Register today for a day of insight, inspiration, and networking designed to help women advance in the workplace and beyond. The Pennsylvania Conference for Women will be held on November 7th at the Pennsylvania Convention and Exhibition Center. You'll enjoy inspiring keynote, practical skill building breakout sessions, and ample networking opportunity. From the Conference for Women, the largest series of professional women's conferences in the country. This annual event sells out fast, so secure your spot now. For details and ticket information, visit paconferenceforwomen.org.
Get on board. The water is open. It's time to go boating and fishing and leave stress in our wake. Feel the wind as we ride and a fish on the line. Reel in our first catch and feel the sun at our backs. It's get out on the water season. It's time to get on board. Find out where to get on board near you. Visit Take Me Fishing and Discover Boating to learn more. And please recreate responsibly.
Get on board. Get on board. We are the home of progressive Black Talk Media. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app. The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on Word Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people. Write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L. O. G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. I hope you all had a great holiday weekend. I truly do. I truly do. I just want to extend my gratitude to New York and Pittsburgh for all the love that you shared, and to the Will Downing crew for a great time as always. I would, however, be remiss if I did not address the Memorial Day holiday, as I forgot to do so at the end of last week. I just want you to know that our thoughts and prayers go out to all who celebrated, lost loved ones who served. I do have a story of inspiration that I want to share with you. So, as we know, Memorial Day is meant to honor those who died in service to our country, our beloved country. It also marks the unofficial start of summer and a time to enjoy parades and, barbecues, all of that good stuff, everything that we look forward to in the warm weather. But for many people, the last Monday of May is just another day that they struggle for a meal. But thanks to the Chosen 300 Ministries led by Pastor Brian Jenkins, which served about 150 Philadelphians experiencing homelessness over the weekend. So I just wanted to recognize them and express gratitude for their service and for their goodwill. Just thank you so much. I tell you all, every single time I get the opportunity to do so, that, we're all in this together. So we've got to help one another. Family, feel free to let us know that you are hanging out, that you are joining us today. You can do so by sharing a comment on our socials, or which you could also call. You can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. You can also call toll free by dialing 1-866-361-0900. It's time for our Black History 365 moment. The whistle walk. Are you familiar? So I was reading. The whistle walk was the walk leading from the kitchen to the house. Enslaved people were required to whistle as they walked, as whistling and chewing are incompatible simultaneously. It would ensure that no one ate or spat in the food on the way to be served. Family, that is today's 365 Black History 365 moment. I was unaware of that, I tell you. Thank you all once again for agreeing to do our Black History 365 moment, for agreeing to share our Black History 365 moment every day, because I really do learn something. I learn something every single time. So thank you. And don't forget, if you want me to share something, you let me know. Just let me know and I will. I want to send a happy birthday wish to all of our love lights who are celebrating, especially my love bug, Patty LaBelle, whose birthday was on Friday of last week, May 24th. And today is Gladys Knight's birthday. Both of those stunning beauties turned 80 this year. They're the best that ever did it. Happy birthday to you and happy birthday to them. Happy birthday, love bugs. And sending extra love and hugs to anyone whose light is shining even the least bit dimly today. I just want you to know that your entire tribe and village right here at Love and Life, we've got you. We are here to support you, and we want you to know that you are not alone, okay? I also want to express my condolences. So family, there was so much that took place over this past weekend, so much violence, so much crime, so much hurt, so much evil, that I want to express my condolences to the family and loved ones of those who were harmed, hurt, or whose lives were taken over this holiday weekend. It's too much. It's too much. In any event, I want to move forward because our guest in this first segment tonight, she's come to spend just a little bit of time with us, but you know what? She is no stranger to the show. She's one of our love lights. She came to share with us in the past, and it's always happy to have her back. Family, Dr. Jessica Beard is a trauma surgeon and public health researcher at Temple University's Lewis Katz School of Medicine. Now, she's also a Stone Life Foundation Fellow and the Director of Research for the Philadelphia Center for Gun Violence Reporting. Her clinical work, if you will remember, is focused on providing care for firearm injured individuals, and her research examines media narratives on firearm violence in Philadelphia. So family, I welcome you to the conversation with Dr. Jessica Beard. Hi there, Dr. Beard.
Hi, Carol. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. It's always a pleasure to have you. It truly is. And we're always grateful that you make the time to come to spend with us. So I know we have you for a short amount of time, but I was sharing with you, Dr. Beard, just before we began tonight's show. Now, family, you all know that sometimes I am in a bubble. I'm so busy going to and fro and working, and I miss things, but I want to be able to converse with you about what's going on. So I had this huge download just before the show of everything that took place. I can't imagine, because it seems like things have gotten worse since the last time you visited with us, Dr. Beard. Would there be some truth to that?
Well, I mean, first of all, I appreciate you starting by acknowledging, people that we've lost this weekend. Certainly, there was, several episodes and multiple lives lost this weekend. A mother, a father. I was reading about them too before our meeting. But the truth is that things are getting better in the city of Philadelphia when it comes to gun violence.
Okay.
The last time that we talked, I think we talked about some of our research and work that looked at the spike in gun violence that we saw related to COVID and containment policies and some of those loss of social supports that we had at that time. But
Sure.
I'm very happy to say that in fact gun violence is down overall, and more looking like numbers that are like the numbers we saw before the pandemic. So of course, every one of those numbers is a human being and a loved one, but I'm happy to report that.
So, you know what? I'm curious to know, as it pertains to the statistics themselves, or specific statistics, I will say, um, is there a significant decrease?
Yes. So starting in March of 2020, we saw double the rate of shootings happening in our city, kind of compared to what we had been experiencing before the pandemic. And
Okay.
that remained at that level for several years. And now
Okay.
we've seen a significant decrease back down to the numbers and rates of shootings that we had around 2018 or so.
Okay. And were those numbers still relatively high at that time, or?
Well, from one of the things that's challenging is that we don't always have the best information or what we call data in our research. But from what we know, that the numbers had been relatively steady from around 2015 up to 2020. So of course, all gun violence is preventable, and we're still here doing this work and taking care of people who've been injured and trying to prevent gun violence, no matter what the numbers are, because the ideal number is 0. But we are definitely not in the surge that we saw during the pandemic.
So I'm curious to know if you could tell us about your recent findings and the studies that you've conducted, because I know you're here to talk with us about something specific. So I'm sorry to have interjected.
Oh, no, it's okay. So we do research on how the media or news tell the stories of gun violence, how the people who are shot are portrayed, and then, kind of how gun violence itself is depicted in news reports.
Sure.
And the 2 new studies that came out came from a lot of work looking at TV news clips. So we actually collected 7,000 TV news clips from 2021 from all 4 local TV news stations. And what we asked was, what does the reporting on gun violence look like? How often is the report just about the single episode of gun violence? How often do we get information about the person who's shot that's humanizing? And how often is gun violence presented as a public health problem? And that's one of the studies. And then the other study looked at who makes the news and which neighborhoods sort of get the most news coverage.
And what did you find?
Yeah, so in the main findings are that just like from the 1990s until now, that harmful reporting, that episodic crime reporting, the reports that just talk about the shooting and present the police responding, that's still what most gun violence reporting looks like. So 8 out of 10 clips were just about a shooting event. More than half featured the police as the only or primary narrator. We didn't find any clip that we looked at in a sample of those 7,000 clips, so about 200 clips that we looked at, that had a firearm injured person as a narrator, or someone like me, a public health person, as a narrator. And when we had talked before, we talked about the study that we did with our patients, where we asked them, how did they respond to reports on their injuries? And they told us certain things felt harmful to them, right? Like if the treating hospital was mentioned, because they would feel unsafe, or if there was graphic imagery, like a video of a shooting. And we found lots of that type of harmful content in these news clips.
So why is that? That's the simplest way I could put it. Why is that?
I think that's a really hard question. I think there's a lot of reasons why it is that way. I think when we work with journalists, as we do in our organization, the Philadelphia Center for Gun Violence Reporting, we like to start in the place of acknowledging that none of us wants to see gun violence in our city. All of us want to stop gun violence. And so I think that's an important place to start. It's not that the journalists who are telling these stories are, trying to harm our community or people in the news reports. But the truth is that gun violence is reported as an issue of crime and not a health issue, like how I see it or how I would approach it. And I think that's kind of baked into the way the reporting is done. There is certainly part of this that has to do with who the victims of gun violence in our city are. That is, frankly, racist. So that's an element that we are also investigating in our research. But obviously, the dehumanization of a group of people can only be seen as that.
So would you have an opinion about maybe some potential solutions or alternatives?
Yeah. So we have been working with journalists and with people who've experienced gun violence personally to imagine what better gun violence reporting would look like. We held a large community event, and then we built on that. And we've actually, in as a companion to this research, have also put out a toolkit for better gun violence reporting. So that's available on our website, pcgvr.org. And the toolkit is for journalists to help them, basically tell the stories in a more humanizing light and to include, elements of a public health frame that might help people understand solutions to gun violence better.
So would you say they've been receptive?
I think so. I mean, obviously, it's not necessarily easy to hear that you may be causing harm when you're coming from a place of, wanting to support your community and raise awareness about an issue. But we've had a lot of people come out as supporters. We've had a lot of journalists engaged in our research and a lot of interest in this toolkit and to implementing it and using the tools from the toolkit.
Oh, that's positive. That's actually promising. So I'm also curious to know if in your findings you found that there were certain neighborhoods, and you may have said this or alluded to it, that there were certain neighborhoods who were the focus of the reportings.
Yes, that part I didn't get to, so thank you for asking that.
Okay.
So so there were two kind of different research studies. So the other study asked the question, again, with these TV news clips that we looked at, we watched, and then we coded, who is making the news, who's more likely to make the news. And we found that children were overrepresented as shooting victims. So they were much more likely to be on the news than they were to actually be shot. And then mass shootings, which we define as shootings that involve 4 or more people within a block, within an hour. Again, that's a very inclusive definition because we don't want to there's a lot of criticism of the definition of kind of traditionally defined mass shootings as excluding community firearm violence. Those two types of shootings were more likely to be on the news. So that what we think of when we see a finding like that is that if somebody watches the news, they're going to not really understand who's at most risk of being shot. They might think children are at more risk of being shot than they actually are.
Right.
And then in terms of the neighborhoods, what we found, we actually mapped out, where the shootings happened in 2021 versus where the news reports were covered. And what we found is that shootings that occurred in higher income areas with less income inequality and less racialized segregation, those were more likely to make the news. So again, they were like the kind of short story is that, a richer area where a shooting happens, that shooting's more likely to make the news. And we don't necessarily know what this means other than this is the finding. But my interpretation of kind of all of this is that, if if people are consuming news, if our policymakers are getting information from news sources, we may be at risk of shifting away resources from the places that need it the most and the people who need it the most.
I want to pivot for one moment. Family, I see that you have questions, and don't you think that I am ignoring you, because I am not. Alfred is asking, and hello, because I am going to acknowledge all of you. Alfred, one of our love lights, Alfred Evans asks, what was the website again? If you could repeat the website.
Oh, yes. The organization is called Philadelphia Center for Gun Violence Reporting. So it's just the acronym for that, pcgvr.org.
Thank you for that. And another one of our love lights, Ms. Joanne Kemp. Hi there. She asks, why were there more shootings during the pandemic? A question that I would love to know the answer to. Well, you know what? I'm going to ask if we could. I'm looking. Well, no. We'll go ahead. We'll go ahead with that. I'm sorry.
Joanne, that's a really great question. I don't know that anyone could answer that really with kind of a straightforward answer. But what we do know about gun violence in our city and in other cities is that it's linked with social disadvantage. It's linked with disinvestment. It's linked with lack of access to healthcare and other social services. And so because we saw that it began to spike at the beginning of the pandemic, we believe, based on our research, and we're doing some more work on this as well, but we believe based on our research that the surge in gun violence during the pandemic was related to the loss of those things, the loss of our cohesive kind of social interactions, the loss of our social services, our programs that prevent gun violence.
Wow. I'm baffled by that. I mean, that it's shocking to me that, especially because we were all at a standstill. We were all made to sit still and stay inside, and to know that there were more shootings during the pandemic.
Well, I mean, children didn't go to school, parks were closed. We know that like safe green spaces and those social support systems, that are provided for children and other kind of members of our society were really missing during that time.
Sure. I do have a follow-up question, but it's time for us to take a short commercial break. Family, stay with us because we are coming right back.
Get ready to kick off summer with the new instant $1 million jackpot from the Pennsylvania Lottery. Scoot on down to your local retailer for your chance to win big. Don't delay. Pick up yours today. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Problem gambling? Helpline 1-800-GAMBLER.
What is lost when a home is denied, when equality is cast aside, when it discriminates against you because you're LGBTQ or because of your race or the obstacles you face, deny you a lender because of your gender? Housing discrimination has no place in our nation.
Don't let housing discrimination stop you. If you believe you've been denied a home because of your race, color, religion, national origin, familial status, disability, or sex, including gender identity and sexual orientation, go to HUD.gov/fair housing. Everyone has a right to fair housing.
When I found out I had postpartum depression, I realized caring for my son starts with caring for me.
Mental health care is working for Simone. See what it can do for you at mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
It's too black, which means it's too strong.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black talk media, WURD.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, progressive Black talk media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Dr. Jessica Beard with an abbreviated visit. So thank you once again. Before the commercial break, one of our love lights, Joanne, asked about the surge of shootings during the pandemic. Why there were more shootings. So I'm curious to know if that particular surge happened within any particular or a certain demographic, or was it just overall?
You mean of people who were impacted?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
Looking
we
at
did,
to read
we
my
did, we
mind.
actually did a research study asking that specific question.
Okay.
Was there a difference in people who were impacted or shot before and after the kind of pre-pandemic and during the pandemic? And what we found is that women and children, and specifically Black women and children, were more likely to get shot during the pandemic-related surge. And that mass shootings were more common during that time as well.
Women and children, or Black children, or children of color, or just women and children?
So women and children overall, and then specifically within kind of racial groups, Black women and children.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
One of our love lights, Diane Facette shares, when you have limited resources to begin with, the pandemic tripled the frustration, the anger, the anxiety to the most vulnerable. This is true. Then you had leadership questions by those in charge. Agreed. So, since we're in the crux of this conversation here, have there been conversations even or measures taken? Now, I realize the pandemic took us all by surprise, but have there been conversations or measures taken in the event we have another pandemic, if you will?
So I think one good thing that came out of the pandemic is hopefully the public's realization of what a public health approach to a health problem may look like, right? So the reporting that we got about the pandemic, oftentimes featured the work of people like me in the hospitals. There was a lot of information about, prevention measures, right? The 6 feet, masks, and a lot of complex conversations. Obviously, they weren't always comfortable conversations, but a lot of complex conversations came out of that. And it was centered largely around information that people were getting on social media and other in news reports. And what I would hope to see is that we could learn more about gun violence as a population following that model. So I wouldn't say we're necessarily prepared for the next pandemic, but I think what happened during the pandemic was that people had a better understanding of what public health interventions could look like. Of course, they're not perfect, but like what tools we could use to prevent gun violence. And by the way, we have lots of tools with strong evidence, strong research that can prevent gun violence. Safe green spaces, education, social services, programs like Cure Violence, which we call community violence intervention, hospital-based violence intervention programs like we have at Temple. All of those things are public health tools that can prevent gun violence. And what we saw during the pandemic related to the surging gun violence is deep investment, not enough, but investment in those things, investment in research about gun violence prevention.
Sure. Dr. Beard, I want to say thank you once again, because like I shared with our family members, we had an abbreviated visit with you tonight. I know you have a lot to do, so we truly do appreciate you just stopping by to share your time, your energy, your attention, your knowledge, all of that good stuff with us. And we look forward to your next visit. We truly do. And just thank you so much. Thank you once again for coming to visit with us. We will see you the next time. Be well, Dr. Beard. Thanks again.
Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome. Family, I was sharing with you all in the beginning that Dr. Beard had come, and she was just going to be with us for a short period of time, but of course that makes sense. She's a trauma surgeon as well as the head of the clinic. So her time is extremely limited. So again, I for one, am so grateful that she came to spend some time with us. I'll share with y'all. Y'all know I'm usually in my bubble. And I was in my bubble, just all happy, like, I couldn't wait to get to you all. And I'm still happy to be with you all. I love spending time with you all. Just love, love, love. And then I read the stories of what had taken place in our fair city while I was away over the weekend. So it dampened my spirit. So my light is shining a little dimly because I just so happened to, I was reading an article and I heard some audio of one of the family members of one of the victims. And it was just heartbreaking, just heartbreaking. So I am doing my best not to let my little cloud overshadow, but I am so prayerful that we get it together. I do want to recognize, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to acknowledge you all because I know there's a whole lot of love over here. Nasir is joining us. Hi, Nasir. He sends peace and blessings to everyone. You know, I send them right back to you. How was your holiday? Family, to that point, I want to know about your holiday weekend as well. How was your holiday weekend? Malcolm White shares that he's watching and listening from Westmount Airy. You know, I look for that message every day. And thank you for the welcome back. Thank you so much. Cheryl Brown is joining us. Hi there, Love Light. She shares a good evening with everybody. Eric asks, how's everybody doing on this terrific Tuesday? Well, you know what? All is well. I will not complain. You hear me? I have missed you all as well. I've missed you. Before we go further, I'm going to go to the phone lines because I don't want to keep any of you waiting too long. Oh, it's Ron. Ron is calling in. Hi there, Ron. Thank you so much for calling and welcome. Welcome.
Yes, Cal. I want to report to Love and Life because y'all was included on Friday. First of all, I'm glad you and Mr. Will and all y'all traveled, had safe traveling, came back, shared your love around wherever you went in the city. On Friday, Cal, the family from my community allowed me to speak at great excesses at the church. Mm-hmm. And I talked about the family chosen me. The church was packed. And I thank the Jones family for that. Sorry for their loved one that had passed on, their brother, with his sickness. And I made mention last week that you always talked about that help with the men, mm-hmm. with the prostate and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So he was faced with something like that. When I got up to talk, I talked about creation. We was created with God's love and all those things. And my topic was to make the point. I talked about flowery butterfly. The butterfly is stronger than a lion. And I was saying that any time that an insect goes into the cocoon, it's got to struggle to come out. You can't take it out. It got to go through the metamorphosis like you came in the world, and I came in the world with that 9 months with your parents and stuff. Well, how can this insect, this butterfly that transform the insect transform to a butterfly? How is this butterfly stronger than a lion, a mammal that is made to look intimidating, make it look intimidating? How is this butterfly stronger? The reason the butterfly is stronger is because it's like Love and Life and all the things that y'all do here on WRD and Love and Life. The butterfly is a symbol of serenity and humbleness. Something so fragile has such power. And in your life, all lives, Malcolm and all of us, it takes a lot of strength to be humble. So while we have this life with us, I suggest, because we never know what the Lord has in store. Mm-hmm. And they listen at this program and hear the caring of the information, like the night you brought on, but the other nights where you brought on with the elders. And you bring them on and let the elder people, let them talk and y'all be encouraging them. That's what life is all about. Because we know life, common core denominator is death. And death is no more than a punctuation mark that put a common period of this life in a period of this life. But we go on to the eternal life if we believe. And I thank Malcolm, thank all y'all for being support of the people that call in, or the people that have on the show. It's great inspiration. And I looked sitting in that church the other day, Cal, and I looked around all them people, how we come together and be sharing tears and showing that compassion. If we could just do that in life, hopefully that it would take some of the violence. But we can't do nothing with all the violence here. Until the Almighty God come in and intervene in this situation here. She's not even taking place, Carol. So thank you, Love and Life. I'm glad to be a part of that family today. And thank you, my community, for allowing me to utter words. Great is our faithfulness. Thank you.
Great is thy faithfulness. Thank you, Ron. Amen. Great is thy faithfulness. Family, welcome. Just welcome, welcome, welcome. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We're talking. I'm talking to you. I've missed you. I've missed you. I haven't been with you. I haven't spent any time with you in almost a week since last Wednesday. So I miss you and I want to touch base with you. I want to know what's going on with you. I want to know what's going on for you, all of that good stuff. So talk to me, okay? Talk to me. Tell me how your weekend was. Tell me how your holiday was, all of that good stuff. Alfred Evans, who asked a question earlier, but he was checking in, and I would be remiss if I did not share all of our love lights who are checking in. Hi there, Alfred. He's sending a good evening to everyone. Willie, one of my love bugs, Willie Matthew Williams. Okay, Willie, you know I have to see you. Willie is in Philadelphia. He's visiting, and we hung out last week. We hung out together last week, and we had a ball. We really did. And Willie, I can't thank you enough because, well, I'm going to call you after the show and tell you why. But I just appreciate you. I appreciate your love and your company. And I just thank you so, so, so much. I mean that with every fiber of my being. Our love light, Shirley Bryant, she is joining us. She shares love with the entire family. She's joining us from Florida. What's the weather doing down there, Shirley? Let us know. Let us know. Diane, I think I did. Yes, Diane shares. Yes, there were some very sad shootings and deaths over the Memorial weekend. I feel so heavy right now, y'all. I feel so heavy. I'm really, really trying to work through it, but you all know I'm so emotional, and I felt, you know. The last thing I read before the beginning of the show, or well, actually, I heard it was audio of one of the family members of the woman that whose life was taken. There was a woman whose life was taken. There were others whose lives were taken, but when I heard, it was just by accident that I heard it, but it hurts, y'all. It just hurts so much, like it hurts. So I apologize to you because I am so heavy with everything that took place in our city over the weekend. I had this high expectation of you all, sharing with me about all this fun that you all had and everything that took place over the weekend. And so right now I'm just feeling a little overcome and overwhelmed with emotion. But I'm good. I'm good. Just a little overwhelmed with emotion. So I love you all, and I so appreciate your hugs and your love. I really do. Miss Julie. Oh, hi, Miss Julie. Miss Julie is sharing with us. She shares, good evening, everyone. In keeping with the topic regarding the media, on June 1st, of 2024, Not Safe for Teens theme. Wow. 20 Philadelphia high school students have been working since October of 2023 on their presentation. Really, she shares that there are details in GermantownInfo.hub. That's HUB. Miss Julie, I can't thank you enough. I told you I don't know what I would do without Miss Julie. I'm going to look that up because I want to know what that reads. Malcolm shares about the pandemic. He shares, well, the pandemic could have been prevented. Let me tell you something. There's been so many conversations about everything that had taken place during the pandemic, the fact that it was like everything. And even that, I was so hopeful, y'all. I was so hopeful. I really was. I don't know. Maybe I do see the world through rose-colored glasses, but I was so hopeful that we would all be closer. I mean, just as a people, just as human beings, I was hoping that there would be some positive change, some more positive change than there has been. I was so hopeful that some things that had been put into effect would remain in effect and would grow, and that other things would manifest positively. I don't know. Am I naive? I don't know. I don't know. Um, but in any event, I'm sharing because I see that you are checking in, family. Malcolm shares that another kind of good thing about the pandemic was the fact that it kind of changed the power dynamic in the workforce, and essential workers had to be respected. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. I do agree with that because they definitely needed more respect than they were receiving. So I do agree with that. Norm, hi there, Norm. Norm McGowan is checking in. So happy to have you with us. So happy to have all of you. You know I miss y'all. I really miss y'all when I am away, when I can't be here. Heather Wilson, our love light, she is checking in as well. And I'm so happy that y'all are here. I'm so happy to spend some time with you. Family, we are going to take a break. Well, actually, I've got some messages to share with you. After that, then we'll take a break because I got to do my job, right? Family, as you know, June is Black Music Month, and this year, the Word Message in the Music presents the word Message in the Music series presents Trans Afro Express. Yes, the global impact of African, Caribbean, and African American music. Join us on Friday, June 14th from 6 until 11 p.m. at World Cafe Live, located at 3025 Walnut Street. This event features a panel discussion, live performances, and the flyest Afro beat, reggae, hip hop, and R&B dance party in Philly. So if you love to dance and you want to learn more about the global impact of our music, then join us on Friday, June 14th from 6 until 11 p.m. at World Cafe Live. Family admission is $20 in advance and only $25 at the door. Get your tickets now at wordradio.com. This Black Music Month event is in partnership with Fun Times Magazine and is brought to you by the Pennsylvania Lottery, Comcast, Keystone First, and Pico. I do have one more message to share with you, but it's time for a commercial break. So note that the phone lines are still open. They're always open. You know I love talking to you. And feel free to continue to comment on our socials. We're going to take a moment, and we're coming right back.
Every day, thousands of Comcast engineers and technologists like Oluseyi put people at the heart of everything they create.
Some of my favorite moments throughout my life are watching sports with my dad. Now I work at Comcast as part of the team that created our AI highlights technology, which uses AI to detect the major plays in a sports game.
And now, millions of sports fans will never miss a moment. Visit ComcastCorporation.com to learn more.
Hey, everything okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Honey. Hey, I'm here for you. Tell me about school today.
When kids can't find the right words, music can help them sound it out. Talk to the kids in your life about their emotional well-being. Find tools and resources at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
June is Black Music Month, and this year, the WURD Message in the Music series presents Trans Afro Express, the global impact of African, Caribbean, and African American music. Join us on Friday, June 14th from 6 p.m. until 11 p.m. at World Cafe Live, 3025 Walnut Street. This event features a panel discussion, live performances, and the flyest Afrobeat, reggae, hip-hop, and R&B dance party in Philly. If you love to dance and you want to learn more about the global impact of our music, then join us Friday, June 14th from 6 p.m. until 11 p.m. at World Cafe Live. Admission is $20 in advance, $25 at the door. Get your tickets now at wordradio.com. This Black Music Month event is in partnership with Fun Times Magazine and brought to you by the Pennsylvania Lottery, Comcast, Keystone First, and Pico. We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black talk media, WURD. You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
And welcome back, family. Welcome back to Love and Life with Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. So I was sharing with you that there was one more thing that I needed to share. And that is about our new Breaking Bread show. That's right. Our very own beloved Tiffany Bacon is hosting a new show. Tune in to Breaking Bread every Sunday, where Tiffany will broadcast from a different restaurant, eatery, or chef's kitchen, where delicious delights and curious conversation are on the menu. I love that. Special guests will join Tiffany for brunch, where the conversations will focus on culture, business, health and well-being, media, literature, and the arts. Break bread with us every Sunday from 11 a.m. till noon, right here on Word, Progressive Black Talk Media. So, all right, we've got 15 minutes. I'm getting myself together. You know I am. And I so appreciate the love and the hugs. I see you all are sending me love and hugs. I love you back, and I'm sending you hugs too. And so, family, I want to know, how do you celebrate Memorial Day? Do you rest? Because that's celebrating too. Do you rest? Did you cook out? What did you do? Did you go away? What did you all do? What did everybody do? I'm so curious to know. Nick, you know I'm coming to you. I would be terribly remiss if I did not say hello, Nick. And how are you? Because I've missed you too. How are you today? Let me start with that question.
Hey, Carol, I'm doing all right. I'm trying to remember what in the world I did for Memorial Day. Was that yesterday?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It was.
I thought it was Sunday. I'm not even kidding. I thought it was Sunday.
No. Oh, Nick.
That explains
Don't
it.
tell me you were working. Were you working?
I was working on Sunday, but I was driving through the city yesterday, and I was like, "Where are all the people at?" It was almost empty. It was nice.
Oh, no.
I like it that way.
Well, that's a good thing, though. That's the best time to be in the city, when it's empty.
Yeah, avoiding all those bad drivers, man. That's my favorite thing to do. No, but I mean, I just went and saw some people, and I kind of relaxed. Felt good to just kind of sit around and not have to do anything.
Well, listen, when I tell you, y'all, so I will share. I was celebrating our queen last week, which was why I was not with you. I had to go show my love to our love light, the one and only Patti LaBelle, and so I went to New York to her birthday party. When I tell you that I now know that I'm not as young as I once was. I went up on Thursday, and then I flew out on Friday because I had shows with the Will Downing crew on Friday and Saturday in Pittsburgh. And then Sunday, I was at the Military Basketball Association championship games. When I tell you that I think I saw maybe all of 2 hours yesterday, my body, I was exhausted. My body said, if you don't sit down. So I was resting. I thought I was going to, well, that was the other thing. I did not know that the weather was going to be there. I did not know it was going to rain on and off. So I thought, oh, well, maybe I haven't been in my yard yet. I had planned. I said, okay, I'm going to go into the yard. I'm going to, throw some things on the grill, and I'm just going to sit out. No, I didn't even make it outside. And you would have said, Carol, you okay? I was exhausted. Cheryl, oh, that sounds nice. Cheryl says she and her husband they rested. I know that rain. Listen, the rain made it so easy to do so. And Nick, you were here. You were downtown. Were you downtown in the city? Down Center City?
Yeah, I was downtown and then I went over South Philly.
Oh, not wait. You didn't go by Watt Street, did you? Where they have the rat jackings?
No, 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 no,
No,
no, no, no.
I could not get that story out of my spirit. I don't know. Okay. Now I told y'all I am terribly afraid of rodents and I told you about the big flying roach that I saw a week ago in near Parkside Avenue. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening, but y'all, I'm about to become a hermit. I think I'm about to become a hermit. Or maybe do they sell hazmat suits? Do they sell them? Nick, I know you know. Do they sell hazmat suits?
I'm not sure where you can get a hazmat suit from, but I do know that there's quite a few places to get a good gas mask or chemical mask.
I need a full body suit. I need a
Full
full
body?
body. Yeah, I need full body. Listen, that there was a flying roach, Nick. There was a flying roach. So I need to be protected from the flying roaches and the rodents. Like, if I see a rat, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care where you are in the world and where I am in the world, you will know it if I see one. Because that's how
I don't know
terrified.
how you hang out around New York City then, because I mean New York they just got rats on the street. They're walking next to people. People don't even react to them. I thought they were only in the tunnels, but they're everywhere in New York, and
Wait,
it's just they're big. They're like it's like what is that?
wait. I was so grateful. And I prayed. I was praying. I prayed before I went there, but then I prayed before I got out of the car. Please God, please God, please God, please God. And I'm so grateful that I saw none when I got there. None, none, none. But yes, no, and you know where else? Every time I do Blues Alley in Georgetown in DC. Wait, so I have one story I'm going to share because I do. Family, y'all know I share. In any event, I had just done a gig at Blues Alley and got to my car and I was putting, I think, merch or something in my car. And Blues Alley is in like little alleys in Georgetown, in beautiful, wonderful Georgetown. But there's like this little cutout in the alley. So I pulled my car over there so I could just situate things in my trunk. And I hear something behind me, and there's a tink, 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 tink. And I turned to see this rat the size of a raccoon coming down the stairs. When I tell you, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm sure you have some idea. I'm sure you have some idea of how I couldn't get out of there fast enough. Oh my goodness. Diane, you've seen those roaches? She said, okay, those let me tell you something. Those flying roaches are yes. Okay, they are so scary. Yes. I thought it was a leaf at first. So I thought it was a leaf, just fluttering off of the tree. And I was seated. And so I just, out of my peripheral, I look and I see movement, but I still think it's a leaf. So I turn my head completely to see that thing fly to the wall. Needless to say, that's why I said to you all last week, if you heard anyone screaming, that it was me, because that scared, and it was huge. It was huge. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Cheryl shares that she saw rats in New York in broad daylight walking. She said, I mean, walking with a slice of pizza in his mouth. No, Cheryl. No, 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 no. Oh, no, no, no. And Eric shares those rats in New York City say, hey, man, want to buy a Rolex? You know what? I don't doubt that they do. I'm so glad though that I haven't seen any. All the times I'm in New York, I'm not seeing any on the streets. I've never seen one on the streets in New York. But do y'all remember when we had the problem here in the Northeast? Nick, do you remember that? I think it was last year. They were
There was
on
a rat
people's
problem in the
lawns.
Northeast.
Yes, they were on people's lawns in the Northeast. Like they were just like it was, like it was a convention or something. There was yes, 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 yes. Miss Diane shares. She said her husband tells her all the time, "You need to sit down." Wait a minute now. You made some baby back ribs. Oh, nice, nice, nice. I love it. See, I didn't even do any real cooking. I was so tired. I couldn't even do it. I didn't have the energy or the bandwidth. I just didn't. I couldn't. Miss Julie is sharing. She shares during COVID. Her very talented cousin, Erica Lynn, designed an outfit to wear. Oh my goodness. She doesn't know if she received offers, but she does know that she's been instrumental since retiring and while active as a school teacher for our school district, keeping students aware of their surroundings. Oh, wow. Miss Julie, can we talk with her? I would love, love, love to have a conversation with her just about her journey. I would love, love, love that. 30 years now, retired. Yes. And Ms. Diane says we used to go to New York to the U.S. Open. Oh yeah, every year and go down in the subway in Queens. Never saw a rat. See, that's a blessing. That right there is a blessing. That Alfred shares that he saw a big rat in New York City around 2007, walking down the street near the area around the World Trade Center. He shares that he crossed the street. What is the word? That's what I asked. What is the world coming to, Alfred? This roach flew right next to me a week ago. This thing, and I'm telling you, it was huge. It was so long. It was huge. It was huge. It was huge. If y'all see me walking around with one of those squatters that look like a tennis racket, just know that I told you it was going to happen. Just know I told you it was going to happen. Well, that's for the roaches and all. Now, I don't know what to do about the rats, but I'm going to have to figure that out too. Nick, if you could find out though about the hazmat suit, because I'm so serious. I'm so serious. It's coming to this.
I got you.
Family, it's time for a commercial break, but in the second hour, you know who's coming. You know the man, the myth, the legend. He will be with us in the next hour. So family, stay with us because when we come back, we are talking with the one and only Chris Murray. We'll be right back.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed on Evening Words.
Senator Lori Berman is a lifelong Democrat who's fought hard for progressive values. On the day that the Dodd decision came, on the day that essentially Roe v. Wade was overturned, what was happening in your office and in your workspace as that decision came down the pipe?
Yeah, I have been in the Florida legislature now for 14 years, and it was during the summer when Roe v. Wade was overturned, so we were not in the legislative session. But I remember being so sad and so disappointed to hear that it had been overturned. I was not totally surprised, unfortunately, because the way the court had been stacked. We had been anticipating something like this. And we knew that Florida and many other states were going to also make it harder for people to get abortions because Roe v. Wade was overturned. Roe v. Wade was really the one thing that was stopping all these states from having very, very restrictive abortion laws. And now that's exactly what happened.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds from Evening Words on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Registration is now open for the 2024 Pennsylvania Conference for Women. This exciting event will feature Shirley Ralph, Robin Earlzone, Diana Nyad, and dozens more to be announced. Register today for a day of insight, inspiration, and networking designed to help women advance in the workplace and beyond. The Pennsylvania Conference for Women will be held on November 7th at the Pennsylvania Convention and Exhibition Center. You'll enjoy inspiring keynote, practical skill building breakout sessions, and ample networking opportunity. From the Conference for Women, the largest series of professional women's conferences in the country. This annual event sells out fast, so secure your spot now. For details and ticket information, visit paconferenceforwomen.org.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy.
It's the month of May. I have a question. Come on now, take note. Did you register to vote during the primary? I say, did you register to vote? If you did, stand with the crowd. Yes, I voted, and I will say it loud. You don't have to fret. Just take a deep breath. June, July, August, September. Watch it now. In a minute, it's going to be November. I say, watch it and remember, it's going to be November. Oh, the summertime will fool you. This you must remember. October, November. It's time to take note. Tuesday, November the 5th. It's time to vote. I say Tuesday, November the 5th. It's time to vote. This is Dr. Lucille Ijo, and say it with me. Tuesday, November the 5th. It's time to vote.
Want to be heard on Word?
Yes, this is Miss Renee King out of Philadelphia.
Dial 215-634-8065 to join the conversation. Outside of Philly, dial 1-866-361-0900. First-time caller? Great. We would love to hear from you. Word is the voice of the African American community, so make yours heard. Please limit calls to once per day. Spread the word and tell a friend to tune in and join the conversation.
Teachers are diverse, skilled leaders, innovating to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Teaching shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org, supported by the U.S. Department of Education and 1 million teachers of color.
We are the home of progressive Black Talk Media. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app. You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Family, welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. Okay, I'm so happy. Nick found a heavy duty hooded coverall for me. Listen, now it's white, so I might have to color it because did you see the video of the landscaper in Nashville, all of the cicadas? Well, they were actually, he had on a light color, but he said that as soon as he would turn on the motor, they would all, did you see it, Nick? They all jumped on him.
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. Let me tell you something. I thought it was, at first I thought it was because of the light. He was wearing one of those lime, like really bright fluorescent shirts. So I thought it was that, but he did say it was the motor, but I might have to color it so it's a darker color. But listen, y'all know when those what do they call the lantern flies? When they were in abundance, I'm going to tell you, every solution they told me I tried. I was walking around. You all know I walk Chloe, my fur child. When I was out there walking Chloe, I had the leash and the fly swat. Well, it wasn't the fly swatter. You know, the ones that look like the tennis rackets. I had the swatter in one hand and the spray bottle because they were saying if you sprayed them with like dish detergent and all. I know you all think I'm bat crap crazy, and I may very well be, but I was prepared. Do you hear me? I was prepared. I had my dishwater solution or whatever ready to spray them and the fly swatter as I walked Chloe. Yes, I did. Okay, so if you see me out there in my heavy duty hooded coverall outfit, just know, oh, that ain't nobody but Carol. That is nobody but Carol. You'll already know. Just know that I told you. You'll see me. Okay, so here we are. It is the second hour. It is Tuesday. And you know what we do. For those of you who are unaware, I'm going to tell you. We talk with the guru, the oracle, the man, the myth, the legend himself, none other than Chris Murray about sports. So family, without further ado, I welcome you to the conversation with Chris Murray.
How you doing tonight, Carol? I was like wondering, who is she talking about? Was it me? Okay. I was just like, oh, well, that's thanks. Flattery will get you everywhere. I will say that.
How are you today?
I'm doing okay because my spring semester is done. My spring semester grades are turned in. I'll still get a few, unhappy notes from people saying, why I get this grade and all that. But but it is what it is. But now I got to teach summer school next week. So
I won't be able to do my summer program this year, but I had my babies today. So I have one first through fifth grade. So I had my babies today. I have one more week with my babies.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Well, the thing about it, but my time will be freed up because I'm in the plan. I'm trying to set up something, trying to do some book signings and trying to get out a little bit. I do have Fridays off, and I have Fridays off this summer. So, but I'm right now. I've been watching a lot of the NBA playoffs, watching the Phillies a little bit, and just trying to get myself back because I'm going to be going back out to the ballpark soon and all that, getting ready, to do some things because it's just, I'm just glad that this was a tough semester. And so I'm just trying to get my groove back and everything. And, but other than that, go ahead.
What made it so tough?
I had I had two classes of about 20 students, and that's tough for a writing class.
Oh, that's tough for listen, that was me last year at the school at which I taught. I averaged about 22 to 25 students each class. That is tough.
And it was. I mean, it was, and then too, with kids these days, man. I mean, it's a lot. I don't know, kids today, man. In many respects, I don't think the public school system really does as good a job as I think they should, and in helping our kids getting ready for the workplace and in college. So that's what we're dealing with, and and so, but I am happy. But the thing about what I decided to do what made this semester worth it on one level was I had a lot of good students. The good students, got the help, did what they had to do, and that's what they did. And that's you're always happy for the good students. I mean, I'm not trying to talk about any situation with students, but I'm just saying that sometimes you're not going to save everybody in these situations. You really aren't. But when you get those kids who really want to push themselves and all that, who really want to be there and learn and stuff like that, that's what makes the job really worth it and everything. And but you're gonna have your days. You're gonna have your days in that situation. Anybody who teaches at a university or at a high school, and I really feel bad for high school and elementary school teachers because they're up against it because they're under pressure to get kids to pass the standardized tests. Really don't tell me anything about a student. Doesn't measure a student's heart or willingness to work hard and be tenacious. And I really don't believe that any of these tests really tell anything. And but that's but that's one thing.
I'm telling you. So the family knows. You all hear me talk about our babies all the time, and they need us. They need us. Oh my goodness, they need us. So that the school at which, it was 2 years ago because I've been at this one for two, but the school at which I taught prior to this one, I had middle school. At our middle school, I had 5th through 8th graders. And at this school, I have 1st through 5th graders. So but like you said, no matter at what age, they all need us.
Absolutely. Although, like I said, I wish I would have had you as my 5th grade teacher, but
no, you don't. I tell you one thing. One of my babies, one of my 1st graders, every single week at the end of class, he tells me I get stars. He tells me I get a trillion stars, and he always tells me God loves you. He tells me that every week.
Oh, that's really nice.
I think it's the sweetest thing now I've come to look forward to. I look for it. But he always tells me when they give me their hugs, he tells me God loves you.
And he does. God definitely does.
He does. But it's a hug to my heart. Every time he says it, it's a hug to my heart. It just makes everything worthwhile.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about. You know.
It is. Look at see that now. You see every single tooth in my mouth. That's too funny. So, what will you share with us on this good evening, Mr. Murray?
Well, there is talk that the Sixers are um, um, looking into getting Mr. Jimmy Butler, and according to Key Pompey is saying that, well, that the Sixers are willing to give him a little bit more money, even though he's 35 years old, injury prone, like Paul George and people like that. So, I don't know. I will. The Sixers have about 4 draft picks. They've got to find. I don't know. The draft is not all that this year, but they got to find somebody, I guess, younger, or they'll use those as pieces to get somebody like an established superstar to go along with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, and that's what they. I think that's what they're going to need when coming back next year. Because I've been watching the playoffs a lot in the last couple of days, and I don't know, green or chartreuse with envy. with I had to kind of spice put that in there, but when I see Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown just coming up with clutch performance after clutch performance, and you sit there, it's like it's just one of those things where you wish that the Sixers could do something to find, because they need a third or fourth guy, really a third guy to go along with Maxey and Embiid, and especially in situations where you have a injury-prone Joel Embiid who may or may not be 100% during the course of a playoff series and whatnot. And so that's really what they need, because I'm watching these games and I'm watching these guys just, watching all these superstar players come up big. And the Celtics just basically keep snatching defeat. I mean, keep snatching victory from the jaws of an impending defeat. Indiana couldn't do anything with them. And then Indiana lost Tyrese Halliburton to injury. And all the games in that series were close. It's just that Indiana just could not for the life of them, get on top of the Celtics. And the same thing, last night watching the or the other night, I think it was Saturday, watching Luka Doncic, score. He got a big bucket in game 3. He hit the game-winning shot, and it's just one of those things where when you're that good and you got players who are unstoppable, what are you going to do? And a lot of people came after Rudy Gobert for him not stopping Luka Doncic. Can you name anybody around the league that can stop Doncic in that situation? And I can't. And I can't, and I really can't name a guy. I really can't name a guy, and from that standpoint, I just look at it. Like, hey, look, these guys, you got, when you're in the playoffs, great teams are going to show up and play, and you got to play it down to the seconds. And you may have a lead, and that's been a constant theme in these playoffs, is that teams, including the Sixers, including the Knicks, they've blown leads late in games, and you got to keep playing these games out, because in the playoffs, anything can happen. Teams can kind of snatch games from you. And that happened to both Indiana and Minnesota, is that they were in these games, they were winning, and then late in the game, they just couldn't handle the pressure. And when you can't do that, you gotta make your baskets. You gotta play. I sometimes get upset with these teams that launch 3-pointers all the time, because sometimes get the short bucket, get the short bucket, and try to win the game. But it gets to a point where like I said, that's both of those the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference series. Those games were close enough that if the pendulum swung, the losing team's way once, it would have been great. I mean, because they've been great games. It's not like Boston has went into Indiana or and was basically blowing Indiana out. As a matter of fact, the Pacers should have won game one. They should have won game one and game three, but they blew it. And you can't leave points out there. You
Well,
can't
do you think they underestimated? Do you think in all of those cases they just underestimated their opponent?
No.
Do you think it was as simple as that, or do you think it?
I just think that Boston is going to keep coming at you. I think Boston and Dallas, with the players they got, they're going to keep coming at you until you've got to go make those plays down the stretch. You can't always settle for threes. You got to get in there and just make the 2-point shots and then play defense. Don't let these guys go off. Although that's a task easy, especially with Dallas with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. I mean, those guys are killers. I mean, and yet as you watch, you're wondering, man, can the Sixers, have a couple of guys on their team that could just, hit those shots? Like Jaylen Brown won game one for the Celtics by hitting a clutch 3-pointer when they were down, when Indiana was up 3. And Indiana did something did something stupid, and then you let Jaylen Brown, with almost time running out, boom, hit a corner 3. I mean, you can't leave points on the floor. You got to hit your free throws, and when you have the chance to beat the bully on the block, you got to take him out. Pure and simple. And that's
what I think they're not.
Huh?
Why do you think they're not?
Not making clutch plays, not concentrating. I mean, and then then again, Boston was a good team, and Boston is going to play. So that's hard to do. That's a hard situation to negotiate. And I think, like I said, a few breaks here and there. For a few breaks here and there, they win that. They could. Indiana wins that series and whatnot. But then give Indiana credit, because they lost Tyrese Halliburton for the last 2 games of that series. And who knows, he's in their best player. And the guy that played behind him wasn't bad, but he's not, a lot of times you can get a guy who plays well, subbing for a superstar, but you need that superstar to make those big plays down the stretch. So that watching these series is just like, man, I'm looking at, man, that's where you see where the Sixers need to be. You see where your superstars become unstoppable. Yeah. And that's why I was kind of hard on Joel Embiid. A lot of people got mad at me for saying what I said, but I'm sorry, you got to deliver in those games.
We've all been mad at him. We've all been mad at Joel. We've all been talking about his lack of performance. We've been talking about it for quite some time now, and every time I hear anybody mention Embiid's name, they always talk about him being injured. They always talk about him being always, because that's what we've become accustomed to. He's always injured. I need him to get well and play like he can, like we know he can. I do want to take a moment. We had a conversation before you joined us, Chris, and I was talking about my fear of all of these rodents and roaches and things in the world. And Diane, I see you. Diane is laughing at me because, yes, I am going to walk around with a tennis racket and a hazmat suit in a moment. I really am. But she shares, happy to hear you, Chris Murray. So I wanted to send you some love. And Diane, tell you that I saw your message. I sure am. So you just know that it's me when you see me in my hooded coverall with my fly swatter or my tennis racket. It's Carol. Joey Dixon is joining us. Hi there, Joey. He's sharing one love and jazz to everybody. And Alfred shares to our conversation, Chris, about our little babies. We need them too. We all need each other. Yes, we do. We do. And I love like Joanne Kemp. She says, hey, Chris. Joanne Kemp. She says, hey, Chris. Alfred shares to your comment about the Celtics. Boston has experienced closers. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
And that's what we want. That's what we need here. We need experienced closers.
That's what we need. Can we get that? That's the other question. Cheryl shares, hey there, Chris Murray. Yes, yes, yes. And Malcolm shares, I have never known Embiid not to be hurt. And he sighed. Well, you are not alone, Malcolm. None of us have ever known Joel Embiid not to be hurt. And that, you know what, Chris, that was to that point. I had asked you, when he was out before he came back, like, did we feel like he was ready? Was he completely healed? What did we like? Because I still feel like he wasn't going to be as good to us as he could if he wasn't healed completely. And here we are.
We were right about that, and that's the thing that was. And if you heard my show, if you heard me on here in this forum, I kept saying, yeah, they're gonna get Joel Embiid back. But I don't know if he's going to be the dominant player. I mean, he did have one game where he scored 50 points. And that's not to say, and then, but I think the thing that disappointed me, I kind of understood that with Joel Embiid. We kind of understood that, it's going to be a hit or miss thing. Either he's going to just play really, really good despite his injury, or those injuries, coming back so soon limited him. But the only thing that made me mad in this whole thing is not so much they lost, but I still did not like the fact that he cried and moaned about New York Knicks fans saying he was disappointed and all this other stuff. And when I said something about it, he's playing on one leg. Yeah, okay, I get that. All right. But if he had scored 10 points in that fourth quarter of game 4, when they were locked in the close game, if he had scored 10 points in that quarter, the Sixers win that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand he's hurt because people came at me on Facebook. One fan told me that we're not holding the fans accountable. I'm like, whoa, you can't be holding fans accountable. Okay. All right. So my thing is that, you're still a superstar. You're the reigning MVP. Even, and the night before he had scored 50 points in the game. Mm-hmm. Okay. We need you to score more than 1 point when it counted. When it counted. And when you watch these games, and this is why I say, people say, oh man, you're just being too hard. Or one of my good friends said, oh, you Philly fans, are just sharp as knives. And he said that. He's a friend of mine. Yeah, my friend, or he's a frat brother too. So I'm looking at it like, well,
you're speaking truth.
But you can't say that about all the Knicks fans were all loud and all. I'm like, no, brother. Here's the thing. You could have quieted them. You had every opportunity to quiet them down.
Yes.
Shut them down.
Yes. Shut them down. And he didn't. Chris, right. I want to ask you to pause for one moment. I didn't mean to cut you in the crux of it because I saw you were heated. You were like, man, but hold on to that. Family, we're going to take just a short commercial break, but we are coming right back.
Represent. Want the latest in word swag? Check out the shop tab on wordradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. It's the shop tab on wordradio.com. You can look good and show the world that you're all about Black Talk Media.
We gathered real Pennsylvania seniors and asked them how they would benefit from an extra $1,000. Here's what they had to say.
Everything is so expensive these days.
Car expenses, repairs.
My groceries, heating costs.
Medications. Sure, I could easily spend $1,000. Like,
Matt.
Through Pennsylvania's property tax rent rebate program, eligible seniors and adults with disabilities could receive up to $1,000. Check your eligibility and apply online. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Tune in to Eco Word Magazine, hosted by POC, the first Friday at 10 a.m. for the PA Lottery Eco Word Fact of the Month. Brought to you by PA Lottery, benefiting older Pennsylvanians every day.
No, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
And we are back. Welcome back, family, to Love and Life with Carol Riddick and Chris Murray, right here on WURD. We're talking all things sports. Before we continue the conversation, though, we're going to go to our phone lines because one of our family members has been waiting to join the conversation. Hey there, James. Welcome to the conversation, and thank you for calling.
Good evening, Miss Carol, cousin Chris.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, James.
How's it going tonight? First of all, indeed, modern day Will Chamberlain. I said that before. I'm going to keep saying it. We have to rest him. We have to build around him. He's going to hit 100 points one day. As far as going to rewind, as far as the kids out here, the babies, Miss Carol,
Yes.
to have that attitude towards that admire so much. My mother, she taught the system for over 40 years, retired and went back for the babies. That's fact.
Oh, wow.
Not even about the money. That's fact. I love you all. I'll talk to y'all later on.
James, we love you more and we thank you for calling. We thank you so much. OMG. That's a beautiful story. She taught
It is,
40 years,
absolutely.
retired, and then went back. You know
Yeah.
what? I commend her. I
I
truly
do too.
I commend
too.
her. To that point, Chris, how many years have you been teaching?
Well, on and off, I've been teaching since 1996.
Wow.
So my math is, I've been teaching at Bowie for the last 8 years. I had some stints at Temple, where I taught African American studies. I taught African American history since 1900, and I taught the sports class, which I would love to teach again. And the thing about teaching is, I've heard different things, and there are times when, there are times it can be frustrating. Let me say that. It can be frustrating because, you can tell a kid to do something, hey, try this and do that, and they won't do it. And then you're like, man, I went through this stuff. But then you get a kid you get some kids who try really hard, and even if they try hard just to get, just to get a C and whatnot, sometimes, and I tell students, I don't like always emphasis on grades in the sense that students look for that. And this is just Andy, this ain't the students. I teach students, you teach, but a lot of the kids in high school, they're looking for the reward of the grade, but did you learn something? And that's always my thing, is that I tell students, whether it's in a journalism class or, if it's any kind of a writing class, I tell them, hey, look, if you've gotten 1 or 10% better, or feel a little bit better than you were when you first. If you have never gotten a grade above a D in any English class or writing class, and you get a C, that's progress. And that's the thing that when I think about students in general, and I think that Dawn Staley said something, and I'm going to bring a sports thing into this. Dawn Staley said that the problem nowadays is that parents don't let their children fail. And sometimes you have to fail in order to get it right, and I'm not afraid to say my first couple of years of high school, I screwed up, and I still remember the day my mother read me, and she didn't read me the riot act, but she had one of those talks like, it's a shame, you're a smart guy, I know you can do it, but you up there wasting it, and at first, being a 15, 16-year-old kid that I was at that point, I was like, oh, my, you don't know, and this, that, and the other. But, it kind of reminded me of that conversation in Cooley High where Preachers is having a conversation with Garrett Morris, his teacher, and he was saying, I see a kid, who's smart, and you make the worst grades in 10 states. And, and he basically is getting on this kid and said, man, you can do better. And my mother did that. But when your mother tells you something, she didn't yell it, right? It was just like, dang, my mind say, man, she's right. And sometimes, you have to have that conversation with your kid, and that, you can, and sometimes you got to let the kids, experience the consequences of that failure. You gotta, because that means that you have to let your kids know you're not going to win every time. You're not going to win every time. Like I said, I was good in school, but I was put math in front of me. I'm like Superman with kryptonite. It's getting to me. It's math.
That happened to me. Yeah, that happened to me as well. So, I mean, as we all know, we all learn differently. We all respond differently. And it's tough trying to determine how to reach one child, let alone a class filled with children who all have different learning styles, different learning capabilities, that it's so difficult for educators, and especially when the child does not have the help of their parents or their families or someone, a guardian or someone. If they don't have outside help, it's even more difficult. It's even more difficult. So when you talk about high school students, I've worked with high school students too. I feel like they have like a competitive edge by the time they get to high school, and that's probably because it's been driven, in them about learning, about making the grade, not so much about learning, about making the grade, making the grade. But make the grade. You got to make the grade, and it's a lot. Even when you talk about, no matter what age you talk about, when you're talking about our children, there's a lot on every single level. There are layers on every single level. So by the time they come to you and they're in college and they're young adults, oh heavens to Murgatroyd, you've got everything compounded from grade school to middle school to high school. You've got everything to deal with by the time they get to college. You got all of that to deal with.
But like I said, that's what it is. And the thing about when you're in the midst, when you're there every day, it can kind of get to you. I'm not gonna lie, because deep down inside, whatever anxiety I may have is because I want them to learn. I want them to do their best, because they're coming into a world that where even when you do got it going on, this is still a world that for people who look like us, it's tougher. And we gotta be ready either way. We can't come out, it's like in sports, you can't come out and you got an opponent, you got a system, an opponent that's always trying to keep you back and everything, and that's and it's a situation where you don't cry about it. When we talk about it, people are like, all you black people do is cry about stuff. No, it's a reality. No, we don't sit on our butts. We've never done that. Never in the history of our time in this country. We've never sat on our butts and just let it happen. We fought. That's the spirit that we have as a people. And so you have to remind kids, yeah, things are gonna get tough and whatnot. But there's always, I mean, I don't want to be all cliche-ish and everything, but there's always tomorrow. You can always get up. You got to get up and everything, and that's the reality of what we do, is that you have to get up. You got, at some point, you got to say, I mean, like I said, I've always, with school, from elementary school to high school to college, I've always been a slow starter. But once I got it going, all right, come on, let's go. Let's get in the fight. It may take me a little longer, but that's how I always approached it. So, but and it's like sport. It's going back to what we're talking about. Sport. See, people want the Sixers. We want our teams, our Eagles, our Phillies, to do well. We want them to do well.
Yes,
we have the passion. We have the passion and the love. But when we don't see that, it's not that. I mean, I'm not one of those. I'm not a fan who's gonna go boo every time and whatnot. But I can look at all the teams, that I root for, and you gotta be honest about, hey, you gotta get better here. Yes. If we don't get better here, like I said, and none of those teams that are playing in the NBA playoffs now, they ain't got no big man. They have no big. I mean, outside of Rudy Gobert, who's mostly a defensive guy, playing for Minnesota, and Karl Anthony Towns, who wins the Terry McMillan Disappearing Acts Award for not playing well in the playoffs.
I like that.
I mean, I'm just saying that none of these teams have big men like the Sixers have. None of these teams have big men. And if Joel Embiid wanted to, he could go in the paint and just kill people. Who's going to stop him? Nobody can stop him in the paint. And that's the thing that everybody, if you look on your comments now, and I'm not looking at your comments, but I'm just saying that's the thing that everybody complains about with him, is that he always spends his time hanging in the high post and down and near the foul line or the 3-point line. I understand this is an age where everybody wants to shoot, but he has the ability to go, to take the ball at people and take it to the rack. Now he may get fouled and whatnot, and he's gonna be in position to score points every time, and he needs he needs to that's the criticism, along with him being hurt, is that with his size, who's gonna stop him? Who in the NBA is going to stop him?
Can you tell him that? Can you tell him that? Because
I tried to tell him that.
He doesn't seem to share that same sentiment. Can you tell him?
Played in the NBA.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, Chris, who never played.
That's what he's going to tell you. I have a question for you, but it's not about the Sixers. Well, I do want to share with you that Malcolm was in agreement with you. He shared that he remembers having the same conversation with his mother back in middle school. Is what you were sharing, and he shares that fortunately he was able to turn it around. So I wanted to share that with you. Our love light, Miss Lily, is checking in. Hi there, Miss Lily. So happy to have you join us as always. I want to ask you, Chris. Now I know you and I, neither one of us is checking for this Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight. We've been clear that we're not checking for this, but now I see which is a first, that it's going to be on Netflix, which is a first for the network. Yeah. But did you see that Mike fell ill on a flight I think he was from Miami to.
I heard about that. I heard about that.
Yes, yeah. Well, okay. I started wait now. Not at first. I was thinking, okay, this is here we are for kicks and giggles. But now I'm getting a little concerned about Mike. I don't know. I really don't think he should be doing this. I don't think he should do it at all. At all. At
Right.
all. At all.
Mhm.
I feel like he should be enjoying life somewhere. I don't feel like this is a part of the enjoyment. I don't feel like it. Now, of course, nobody cares about my opinion, but I'm beginning to get a little concerned. I'm getting concerned, Chris. I'm getting concerned.
Well, you should be, because the fight is on July 20th.
Mhm.
And, there's probably a lot of things I'll be doing on July 20th. I don't know. But and maybe a barbecue or something. But knowing me, I will watch just because I'm curious. Just because you got to see the accident. It's like watching. It's like watching the Addams Family and Gomez is crashing his trains. You just want to see the.
I can't. I can't. I'm going to have to wait for you all to download to me, because right now I am fearful. I am concerned about Mike Tyson. I am. Number one, why this is a decision that he made to do this, number one. And number two, what is he expecting to gain from this? Why? Just why? I am fearful that he is really going to be injured. I really listen. I have to look it up while we're on commercial break. We're going to go to commercial break in a moment, but I have to look it up. Like how he got ill. We already talked about the other day about something with which he suffers. I can't even remember. I don't know, Chris, Nick, if you remember, but I'm just concerned. Why in this point of his maturation process is his goal not to simply enjoy life? Like, this right here seems insane to me. It seems insane. Family, okay, I'm having a freak out moment, if you will, because I'm concerned about Mike Tyson and this upcoming fight with him and Jake Paul. Everything that I've seen with Jake Paul, his energy is all over the place. He's on 1,000, and he's ready. He's ready for this. I am not ready. Family, I want to know your thoughts. Are you concerned at all about Mike Tyson, or where are you? Do you feel like I don't even care? What are you thinking about this upcoming match? I know I asked you before, but now because I just read this story about Mike getting ill on the flight, it concerns me. Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. It really does. It scares me. We're going to take a commercial break, but family, I really want to know, what do you think about this? What do you think? Tell us. Tell me. Chris, when we come back, I want to know what you think too. So family, stay with us. We're coming right back.
Tune in this Wednesday at 10:40 a.m. for the Who is AARP segment on Reality Check with Tanya Pendleton, featuring Angela Forshaw Rouse. Learn about the many benefits AARP provides the community. Tune in Wednesday at 10:40 a.m. brought to you by AARP Pennsylvania.
For the longest time, it was hard for me to even get out of the house. It took me a bit to understand what was going on, but eventually I learned I had anxiety. Now I'm getting help for it.
Mental health care is working. See what it can do for you at mentalhealthcareworks.org.
WURD is happy to provide our listeners with the opportunity to participate in contests and win prizes. This is a reminder of our contest rules. All participants must be 18 years of age or older, depending on the contest. Persons may win only one prize from the radio station per contest for every 30-day period. Some contests might also specify one winner per household or company. Prizes must be claimed within 14 days or by 12 noon the day before the event, whichever is sooner, and must be accepted as is or forfeited. The radio station employees and their immediate relatives, sponsor employees and their immediate relatives, live remote sponsor employees and their immediate relatives, and any other media employees are ineligible to win the prize. Thank you for participating and for listening to WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
It's too black, which means it's too strong.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black talk media, WURD. You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, progressive Black talk media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned into Love and Life with Carol Riddick and Chris Murray. So before the commercial break, I asked the question. I posed the question because I am, at this point, fearful for Mike Tyson. I'm fearful for his health and his well-being with this upcoming fight with him and Jake Paul. I don't know if any of you saw the story that he fell ill. I think it was over the weekend. He became nauseous and dizzy as a result of an ulcer flare-up.
That's right. In a real sense, it's almost, I kind of feel like I begin to understand why one time Denise got kind of looked at me sideways when I was out in West Philly a couple of years ago trying to play in a football league with people who were maybe 20 years younger than me and whatnot. Yeah, it was like a touch football league. I thought it was a great idea at the time, but my body felt, I felt good. I stretched and everything, and I went out for a pass. I went out for a simple down and out route that I ran 10,000 times in my youth, and I heard that thing. I heard that crank, that muscle pull, and I came home, and I had to take the subway home because I didn't have my car. So I had to take the L to the Broad Street line, and then when I'm like, oh God, I'm in pain, honey. She looked at me like, I told you not to go out there and try to play sports and all this stuff.
Chris, listen, you lucky she didn't beat you with a wet noodle. We are all, and listen, well, I'm sorry. Let me speak for myself because I know I'm at the age where I'd better turn over several times throughout the night or I'm cramped somewhere. I got a hip hurting in the morning or something.
Right.
Listen, what are you doing? Mike Tyson is 57. Jake Paul is 27. 27. Mike has what? Wait, if an ulcer was aggravated as a result of him flying, what does he think is going to happen when this 27-year-old starts
punching him in the stomach, you doing body shots at him?
I didn't even want to say it. Wait, Malcolm shares. He's concerned about Mike too. He shares Mike should be chilling. I didn't even know he had a weed business. I don't know anything. He has
a weed business. Wow.
He does? I did not know that. Alfred shares. He shares. He's with me. There's a time for us all to retire.
There's stage left.
I love, like Joanne asks Chris, when was Mike's last fight? That's a great question. When was it?
I want to say around 2005. I mean, sometime it was during the early days of the 21st century. I mean, he hasn't. His it's like I said, he retired in 2005, and his last fight was an exhibition against Roy Jones Jr., another guy who shouldn't. And it was about a couple of years. It was an exhibition. They were basically sparring, and it was like, dude, come on, guy. And I say the same thing. There's a point when you don't have it anymore. Admit it. We get older. I mean, it's almost like, sometimes I used to see, I saw Roy Ayers and I saw Frankie Beverly at a certain age trying to hang on. And it's almost like these guys are heroes. And it's like when Ali fought, let me say this. When Ali fought Larry Holmes, my uncle had basically bought, said, asked me and my brother to go along. And I said, and I basically told him, I said to my Uncle Frank, I cannot go to that fight because I'm going to embarrass you guys by crying when Larry Holmes, was beating Ali mercilessly. I couldn't watch that fight. I will never watch that fight. I will never watch that fight because Ali is like Superman to me growing up. I could not. I mean, and I saw all the great athletes. I saw my hero Johnny Unitas, playing for the San Diego Chargers, and he just, dude, it's over. It was that you had your day, and it's painful to watch. And I used to tell this to Brad. I used to say it to Brad. I said, Bernard Hopkins. I said, Bernard, when you gonna retire? You can't do this forever. He says, no, man, I'm gonna keep proving you wrong. And I'm like, you can't. Your arms are too short to box with Father Time and God.
Oh my God! So here we are. Mike Tyson has sciatica, and now we're talking about an ulcer flare up. So first of all, it takes one good punch without any of that. I am so fearful for this man that I think it's going to be a travesty. I really do, and I don't.
I think so too. It's going to be a travesty, and Jake Paul is not going to help Jake Paul's career. He can't. I mean, he's not going to go around saying, "Yeah, man." I mean, he's not going to go down to a bar and say, "Yeah, man, I knocked Mike Tyson out." You knocked out an old man. You didn't knock out Mike Tyson when he was like 20-something years old and putting fighters to sleep. You go on TikTok and YouTube, you see all these old highlights of Mike Tyson putting guys to sleep. He can't do that no more, and or do that anymore. I said that bad grammar, but yeah. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying that you reach that age. You reach that age where when I go across the street now, when the cars are clear and the sign says go, I walk. When I was a kid, man, I used to say, "Hey, let me test my world-class Bernie youthful speed and whatnot." I can't do that no more because if I did something like that, I wouldn't get run over. I'm too, you got to live with it. It's hard for men to deal. It's hard for men to deal with that.
It's hard for women. Well, nobody wants to listen. We all want to remain youthful and young, but there is, listen, you better accept the fact and be grateful that you're aging. Be grateful. Right. Be grateful that you are aging. I don't, and I'm so curious to know, like, so what is Mike? What does Mike stand to gain? I mean, now look, I know, I've read about his financial troubles and what have you, but is this money? Is this ego? What is this? What is it?
It's a combination of both. And you a lot of times you just, especially in your 50s, that's when it hits you in your 50s. It's like that, it's a whole midlife crisis thing. You still think you got it on some level, but you're not. Everybody thinks they got. Like I still think I got it in terms of a writer, being a good writer, but that's a skill that never leaves you. But the thing is that we want to, in the immortal words of the great Howard Cosell, and he said this about Ali. He said Ali found out that even he can't be forever young, and that's you can't. I mean, like I said, you can't be who you are, like I said, who you were as an athlete 40 years ago, nearly 30 to 40 years ago, you're not there. It happens.
That's not even possible. It's not. Right. One of our love lights, Miss Joanne, she shares, I bet he has more ailments. They're the ones that we are talking about are just the ones that he had to admit to, being shown in a wheelchair, and then, the airplane incident. You can't hide those, she shares. I am in agreement with you. I am in agreement with you. All of those years, because boxing is a physical sport. I'm sure his body, listen, And I get it. He won, more than he lost, but still, it's a physical sport and it's a full body sport. Just what? So, and what is this training process going to look like for a 57-year-old man? Don't misunderstand me, because I want you all to know that I am not saying it is over for a 57-year-old man, but I am saying it is going to be extremely challenging for a 57-year-old man to fight a 27-year-old man.
Yeah, because the body. See, here's the thing. It's like I got my fist. So when your mind says, "Okay, throw the right jab," and whatnot, by the younger guy, there's like, and then all of a sudden your arm says, "Oh, we gotta go." Oh, okay. And by the time you throw that out there, the other guy, the younger guy's done jabbed you several thousand times. It's like, okay, body, get up and walk. Everybody's like, oh, okay, one, two. I don't want it for him either. And it's one of those things. I don't like it when guys guys don't have it. And Father Time, I saw Father Time rob certain players in the Super Bowl one time. The great linebackers and all that. And you got an older guy out there, and sometimes that magic just ain't there. You ask for that magic one more time. That's why, and that when that magic doesn't come out anymore, it's hard to watch.
I'm sorry, Chris, to interject. So sorry, because I do want to share this. I saw that Diane, she shares, yes, you can see it with Rafa Nadal too. He's all over the place. He has so many issues. Yes. Yeah, and he talked about it too. Roger Federer bowed out gracefully, but some people can't. Tyson is sickly. Yes, he is. She shares, the poor guy looked awful on TV. Yes, I miss Lily, our love light. She's sending love to everybody. Yes. And you know what? Rafa made a statement, as a matter of fact, that, he's okay. If this is, he's at peace. That's what he shared. He's at peace if this is his last French Open. You like, there is a time where accept, or we will be made to accept. How about that? You will be
made to accept.
To accept. Family, Chris, once again, thank you so much. I hate that the hour goes by so quickly, but I thank you so much. Family, praising God, from whom all blessings flow. I'm going to ask, as I've been doing, I'm asking you that you continue to pray, as we all need it. Pray for your loved ones. Pray for your enemies. Pray for the healing of the world. Just pray. I just thank our guest, Dr. Beard, for joining us. Thank Chris, our family, for continuing to just come and spend some time with us. And thank you, family, for doing the same. I have missed you. I miss you when I'm away from you. Yes, I do. And I'm always so happy to be with you. Special thanks to the entire Word family, especially Niall and Nick. Thank you for my suit, Nick. I'm ordering it tonight. For all that you do, happy birthday once again to all of our love lights, Patty LaBelle, Gladys Knight, and to you, if you are celebrating. Remember, family, we are all in this together. Please remember that. So please be good to you, but be good to those around you. Be careful and be kind. God loves you. And so do I. I surely do. Family, I can't wait to see you. Have a great rest of your night. And be sure to join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. Eastern Time, for another edition of Love and Life with Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Have a good night, family. Have a good night. Have a good night.